Howdy everyone, it's me once again, the one and only Killer Dan. And today, I'm going to be continuing my Disney movie marathon. So for this time around, I do want to talk about music, which is something that Disney have become really known for. Which is totally fine, of course. I guess to be more specific here is that I'm going to be talking about music from the animated film Frozen 2. Yeah, I know. Before anyone says it, then I know. I'm talking about this film again. But yeah, folks, I have to bring this up because yeah, I guess it made some breaking news. Yes, I guess in a way you can consider this as a news kind of a thing. So I just want to cover this because it's something that did occur. And then in some ways, I guess it's a perfect excuse to talk about this movie, I suppose. I mean, okay, technically the music, I guess. But it did make the billboards, of course, music specifically, and let's just say it really went up there, and so much so that it actually outdid the first film in that regard. So yeah, it beat its spot, folks. So yeah, that's great. That's wonderful. So yeah, this is definitely something I want to cover because it beat its predecessor record for the most weeks it was spent number one on the Billboard chart when it comes to soundtracks for certain movies. So yeah, it was on the Billboard for quite some time. So yeah, good for the movie, I guess. And this happened, of course, in the United States. The original Frozen film is now sent to the number two spot of all time, ranking up 44 non-consecutive weeks as number one. There's other stuff, of course, that made it quite some time, of course. But I guess that's definitely a good thing, folks. And I do think that it did definitely deserves this kind of a thing with such emotional driven songs in the film, like Show Yourself. And then there's more humorous uh, songs like Lost in the Woods or whatever. And the there's of course there's some connection to the Walt Disney Animation Studios. They have this kind of a thing for quite some time anyway. The fourth film made what is basically a musical, and so is this one. So its franchise is basically uh, a musical. So there's no surprising that, of course, they do that kind of a thing. So that's definitely a great thing. So with the people, the voice actresses who is doing the voice, or for Elsa, Anna, so on and so forth, they all did a definitely great job here. They did a great job following up their success with their songs, of course, that officially outperform their all the songs like Let It Go and For the First Time Forever. The soundtrack for this film outperformed all of those. So it definitely is surprising that this kind of thing would happen. I mean, okay, maybe not that surprising. So this was definitely a great thing that it happened. I mean, it should be considered a good thing because it definitely made um, a great thing here, folks. So let's just say, I hope it just keeps going like this. Obviously, it did win quite a bit of awards as well, folks. The Billboard Awards. So that's definitely a good thing there. Oh yes, it also went up to the point where, yep, it went here, folks. It definitely went here as well. So that's definitely a great thing, folks. It definitely did a great job in this regard. Disney's Frozen 2 has taken up the top spot when it comes to the top musical soundtrack award when it comes to films, of course. And yeah, this definitely is a good thing. It should get something for this kind of thing. And yeah, won it too. So I'll at least get pretty great there, folks. Obviously, and I do think that's definitely something I should want to bring about because this was definitely one of my favorite movies, of course. And that's the thing. It's one of the few sequels I actually liked. So when it comes to sequels, folks, they usually don't surprise. They're not. They're usually not that great. But this is definitely one of those few times where the music is actually really well done. So yeah, I'm great about this. And yeah, the I mean, there's been occasions where you have a bad movie with great soundtracks. Oh, the great movie with a mediocre soundtrack, or whatever. But thankfully, we get both this time around. We get a great soundtrack and great music. So, in this one, the sequel, they really try to make sure the emotion and the everything else will go along with the story, make sure it feels more connected. And that's the thing I can definitely say, folks. The music in this movie does feel like it was placed specifically for specific moments, and they really made sure it fit what they were trying to do. It didn't feel overstuffed or anything. It made sure the music really went well with what they were trying to do. So yeah, and all together, it definitely fit what they were trying to do with the movie. And the people who made this film really, just were in a lot of stress while making this movie. They had to make this film. Yeah, let's just say the production was actually quite difficult in a lot of ways. The production wasn't exactly easy. They had to make this more of a faster pace compared to the first one. And yeah, as if that wasn't bad enough, there was also some family issues as well behind the scenes, which is something I did discuss when I made a review for the behind the scenes making of Frozen 2, which I made a review of a little while ago. So yeah, they definitely went to the production of this kind of a thing and show how stressful this environment can be. Yes, even if you're working at Disney Studios, it's still gonna be pretty stressful anyway. But yeah, it wasn't easy making this movie. The soundtrack had to be really good, folks, and they had to, of course, deal with the fact that it's a lot of pressure, a lot of stress, considering the fact they have to outperform the first one because a lot of people like the first one. First one became one of the most popular Disney films out there, so they have to find a way to outdo what they did. So okay, you made a great first impression, but what about a lasting impression? So that's another thing. You made a really good first installment, but making a really good second installment is gonna be really tough. So they've definitely had that in mind. Obviously, so they definitely has to take care of that kind of a thing here, folks. So yeah, there's a lot of effort when it comes to the music. The music itself had to be placed in very specific spots, of course. Make sure this kind of thing, obviously. And yes, of course, this was all over Twitter as well, which is pretty cool as well. That was cool. That was definitely a cool way there. It was all over Twitter and whatnot. And it's something I do believe that is really well deserving. Obviously, I really do feel like it's really, really well deserving that they had to do this kind of thing because they put a lot of efforts into this kind of a thing. When it comes to the writing, the music, it's not just a sound, of course. You do have to write the lyrics, of course, obviously. So I'm glad about that. I'm glad this this actually happened for these people. So I'm actually glad they were actually able to do this kind of a thing. Of course, considering the fact that, like I said, there was a lot of pressure to do this, a lot of efforts, obviously. So let's just say that this year can be a great thing for Frozen fans, of course, obviously. There's lots of stuff that a lot of people, a lot of the fans could be considered as happy. Anybody of all ages kind of have a chance to enjoy this kind of a thing. So yeah, great for them, I guess. That's really great for them that they had a chance to make this, of course, obviously. So it's something I feel like they definitely should get awarded for. If there's anything that Disney is known for, it's of course its music. That's definitely one of the things they really, really have done over the years, of course. So if there's gonna be any animated features that's gonna win this kind of award, of course it's gonna be Frozen, obviously. And yeah, I'm glad that this film has become known for its music. It technically is a musical, And that's kind of the funny bit about this. What I mean by that is, I'm not really into musicals, really, like hardly at all. I was kind of odd to say, considering the fact I'm talking about Disney movies and whatnot. But I really did like the second one. I really did enjoy what he had to offer. And one of the best things he had to offer is, of course, the music. Of course, I didn't mind it really, folks. It didn't bother me too much. And yeah, this definitely was one of those moments where they actually outdid themselves. Really, I mean, I know they don't always make great music, but this is definitely one of those times like they did, because you can obviously tell that the people behind this were really trying to put a lot of effort behind the music. So that's definitely something you should do. Write music down in the way it's meaningful, of course, the way it actually means something. And of course, it does go along with the actual story within the context of what they were trying to do in the overall narrative. When it comes to finding yourself, discovering who you are, obviously, what are you gonna do with your life, and of course, when it comes in life, it's not always so easy peasy. So it's not completely easy to take care of some things, and yeah, there's gonna be some things in life that's gonna be quite uncertain and whatnot. And of course, life itself can also have some brighter moments, obviously. And you could actually use music itself to reflect that. I mean, yeah, music doesn't always have to use words, of course, but sometimes it can, but not always. So, yeah, I do think it's definitely a good thing that they would get noticed for this. But like I said, folks, a moment ago, I'm not really into musicals like at all, really. That's why on this YouTube channel, you hardly ever see me talking about any kind of musicals or anything that's related to Broadway or anything. That's usually what I'm gonna do with this channel. Just talk about stuff that's interested in what I would like in my taste. So yeah, it's gonna be rather rare. They're gonna be talking about something else, really, like hardly at all. But I guess that's the case. I actually would talk about a musical because it is Disney related. So of course I'm gonna use this as a way to talk about Disney and to make something more positive, really. To speak about something more uplifting, I guess, to some degree, because I know I've made a lot of rant videos as of late. I made quite a bit of rant videos, so yeah, it's just trying to talk about something where I just don't complain so much, really. Even though that's basically what I did, complain about a number of things, of course. So I guess this is my way of trying to put more positivity into the channel, I guess. But anyway, yeah, it did. This thing did happen in Frozen too. So which I did think it would, of course, happen. So I guess there's certain things that would never change when it comes to Disney. Disney has always became really well known for its musical stuff, of course. And obviously, I would definitely recommend watching the film Frozen 2. And its soundtrack is really good. The score does combine a bunch of things, of course. And it premiered. The film premiered in October 22nd of 2019. The film, the sequel, quickly did become one of the highest grossing animated films in cinematic history, making quite a bit of money in the box office, becoming one of the most highest grossing sequels when it comes to the box office. So, and then this would happen. So, of course, it's definitely a great thing. So, yeah, it definitely was not surprising to me anyway that Frozen 2's soundtrack was nominated for the 2020 Billboard Music Awards for top soundtrack. And of course, this definitely something happened. This is definitely something I want to talk about because it does give me an excuse to talk about Frozen. Yes, I know I've talked about Frozen so many times already on this channel. It's something I've definitely done quite a few times already. The soundtrack does hit the chart and it ranks up as one of the most popular soundtracks of the week in the United States based on multiple things, of course. Of course, there's going to be how many albums it sold and how quickly, of course. Going to track down the album sales and whatnot, and of course, streaming services, so on and so forth. A lot of it would, of course, come to this kind of a thing, and you have, of course, consider how well it was sold and whatnot. Of course, the word gets it gets out there. The word gets out there when it comes to this film, especially considering the fact that the first one was actually successful. So a lot of people are going to be wanting to see how the second can turn out, especially when it comes to the music. That's definitely one of the first things that come to mind when it comes to this kind of a thing. So of course, a lot of people are going to be wondering about how the lyrics going to be, how much of an impact it's going to be for the viewer, the story, so on and so forth. So of course, this will be a thing that they will talk about. Obviously, it's Frozen for crying out loud. Since the Frozen can be considered as a musical, of course, the second one will also be a musical as well. So yeah, that's definitely gonna be one of the things, one of the first things we're gonna be talking about. Obviously. So the people who made the music, folks, the people who composed the music, I really do hope that these people really they really got paid really well. I'll definitely say that. Yeah, let's just say that the weekly soundtrack chart began on June 30th, 2001 as an album sales only rank up chart, of course, and then going from there, and then we continue to talk about Sony musical tracks, of course, and and this definitely made a landmark for this kind of a thing. So it's definitely something to be proud of course. I know this kind of thing, making awards for when it comes to Sony soundtracks isn't exactly anything new. That's been going on for quite some time. Is what I'm trying to say. So of course this would continue on. Obviously, Frozen itself they have to make to be on this kind of a thing. So I'm glad. I'm glad they did make it there. So of course, films like the Frozen 2, the first Frozen, Oh Brother, and The Greatest Showman also have been something in in common as well. All four of those movies have topped an all genre Billboard 200 chart, which makes them to be the most popular albums of the week, of course. So it's definitely something I would say that can be happy about. They deserve it. They deserve this, folks. They definitely deserve for all the things they went through it in making it, of course, and to produce it, obviously. So it's something they should be really, really proud of themselves. I know I would have been if I if I made it, of course. That's definitely I do think that's a good thing, of course. So the fact that this film hit that kind of a thing definitely is a great thing. I won't mind it buying the soundtrack myself, really. Maybe one of these days I can do that. Maybe I'll actually buy the soundtrack. I did buy the soundtrack for the first film. I did buy the Spanish version of the soundtrack of the original film, but I haven't done that with the second film as of yet. So, yes, you heard me. The Spanish version of the soundtrack for the first film does exist. So I'm pretty sure they have done that for the same thing for the second movie. So I definitely had to look into that. I haven't bought an album yet, real for the second movie, but like I said, I'll get to it, folks. I would definitely get my hands on that whenever I have the chance, of course. So anyway, and yeah, that's the thing. I'm talking about musical, like musical stuff is something I really not into, like I said earlier, and I'm talking about it here in a positive way. And I do think that it's worth it. It really is. I'm happy for it, of course. So I know these types of videos, when it comes to a Billboard chart, the status of the musical thing, the musical songs and whatnot, and talk about how many times they're being listened to. I know this kind of stuff is something I'm not usually talking about really, like hardly at all. But here I am. I'm talking about it. Here I am talking about this kind of a thing. So yeah, just so you know, folks, or anybody for anyone that's actually listening to this long video, yeah, don't expect me to do this that often. Really, I rarely talk about music, at least in this way, at least in this kind of. I really rarely ever do it. I mean, I don't even review CDs that often. I don't even remember the last time I reviewed a CD or CDs or whatever. I mean, I know I've done it. I know I've done that kind of thing. I just don't remember the last time I've actually reviewed a CD or anything like that in that nature. I haven't even really made any like a top 10 list of like top 10 favorite songs, top 10 worst songs, top 10 worst selling songs, top 10 underrated songs, or even maybe let's say maybe like a top 10 songs I really liked, top 10 greatest songs. I have not done anything like that like at all really. And if I have, like I said, it's really rarely done. It's really rarely done like at all. I would actually do in this kind of a thing. Because, like I said, when it comes to music, it's not really my cup of tea to discuss these kinds of stuff, really. Like, hardly at all. It's just not my thing. It really is. I know a lot of people had done that before, and I mean, I don't even review music really. I'm not done that at all. So again, just keep in mind, don't be thinking I'm going to be doing more videos like this anytime soon. And if I do another video like this, talking about the music, or soundtrack, or whatever, don't be thinking that I'm gonna do that again. I don't mind really, but like I said, it's not gonna be anytime soon. Really, it's not something I'm gonna be consistently doing often. So yeah, it was just kind of bad for me on how was I supposed to approach this video? How was I supposed to talk about it really? So yeah, it kind of led me in a bit of a head scratcher. Because I didn't know what to say. I really didn't know what I was going to talk about here exactly. I mean, I'm glad that it won. At least got nominated, I guess. But still, I'm glad that it did get this attention. Really, I'm really glad about that. So yeah, but I guess moreover, I wasn't sure what I'm going to be talking about, what I'm going to be expressing here. Really, I mean, okay, now it's just coming off. I'm just blabbering on here, folks. But like I said, I wasn't sure what to say really. I was just trying to think how to convey what my thoughts here, really, if anything. But yeah, I like Frozen 2. I really did. I know that some people would say something about the characters, motivation, as in, whether sexual orientation. I know that seems to be like a thing with these movies. I mean, it doesn't really matter, but I know a lot of people also made a thing about, Elsa wearing pants. That was another thing they spoke about. I mean, I really didn't care, really. A lot of people felt that maybe the character Elsa wearing pants meant something. I didn't think so. But I'm getting off track there. But the thing is that, uh, I'm trying to look at the intent. What's the intent of certain scenes? What's the intent of certain characters and what have you? And that's how I want to think about the music. What's the intent of the music itself? What are you trying to deliver to the listener? What kind of thing are you trying to tell the listener? What's the motivation here, and what are you trying to get at? What are you trying to convey of like anything at all? So this kinds of stuff I like to think about. And does it do it well? I think so. I think they've done it quite well, especially in this kind of a thing. That's for sure. To convey what they're trying to express with the characters and their thoughts, their emotions, and what they're trying to go through within the context of certain scenes and whatnot. I would get into specific stuff, but I know not everybody has seen the film as of yet, which is kind of hard to believe because the first film and the second film became the highest grossing films of when it comes to animation, especially. So yeah, these films are pretty popular. Yeah, I know. I don't always want to talk about mainstream movies. Really, it's something I don't do all that often. Really, but this is one of the few times where I'm actually doing that here. So well, what do you know? Now, when it comes to family movies, folks, I know this is something did bring up a few times already, but when it comes to family movies, I tend not to enjoy them all that often, really, because I tend to loathe family films, of course. But I guess this is one of those rare cases where I actually did enjoy a family film. I mean, it gets pretty dark, so I wouldn't exactly say is of all ages, really. So I wouldn't exactly say that, like, at all. But whatever, I guess. I don't know, whatever. I like this. I really did enjoy this film. And yeah, it's a princess movie of all things. I guess even labeled as something. It's a princess movie. Yes, I'm talking about something princess related again. I know I've been doing that quite often in this Disney movie marathon, of course. I mean, okay, it's technically the soundtrack to a movie I'm talking about. So I do think that's a great thing that they would get a lot of attention. But then again, it's Disney what we're talking about. Like I said way earlier, folks, it's Disney what we're talking about. So of course, if anything, of course you're going to talk about the music. That's definitely one of the first things you think about. That's fine. That's not inherently wrong, obviously. Yeah. So as I was saying, is that they had to make the music in a short amount of time. They didn't make this film and not quite exactly in the same amount of time like they had with their first film, which became a surprising hit. So, and that's the thing with the movie industry. In the movie industry, you do have to gamble in a lot of ways. I mean, just because, yes, the first film is a princess movie, that doesn't always necessarily mean that it's going to be successful. But in this case, it is. It's like gambling because you're not sure if it's going to become a hit. You're not sure if it's going to become a failure. That alone can be really stressful, of course. That alone can be really, really stressful, of course. But it paid off. It definitely paid off, which eventually led to a sequel. I mean, granted, just because a sequel to something that is successful doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to be it was successful as the first one. The fact that it was successful, that alone was a big gamble. But the fact that it even made even more money and it topped the charge more than the first one, and that itself is a gamble. That was definitely something that you weren't going to be sure if that was going to actually happen or not. Those two things alone was also surprising, at least for them. This can be surprising regardless of what studio does it really. You're not gonna exactly know if it's gonna pay off or not until it actually happens. So there's a risk, even with the music industry. So I guess in this case it goes into the music industry, which can be considered as a gamble. You're not exactly sure if you're gonna make it big or not, and that's the case here. They weren't exactly sure if they were gonna make it, if they were gonna make it as big or bigger than what they had originally, and they definitely did. They definitely topped themselves, which the fact alone that they topped themselves can be considered very surprising because they actually succeeded in doing so. The first film was already successful in a lot of ways, and the very fact that they actually topped themselves was it was a delight. It was something that can actually give themselves a pat on the back. So, if anything, I actually am surprised. I'm surprised that they actually did it, folks. So, yeah, that's a great thing there. Really, really great thing. So, alright, folks. I guess I'll just sort of end the video already because, yeah, this is a pretty lengthy video. So, I do appreciate anybody that's actually watching this. So, anyone that's watching, I really, really do appreciate that. You actually took your time out of your day or night or whatever to watch my video. So, I know a lot of people are stressed out for various reasons, of course, and whatnot. It's the whole pandemic. A lot of people are losing their jobs and whatnot. And you actually take your time to watch my long, long, long video. So yeah, if anyone's actually doing that, if you're going under a stressful situation, thank you very much for watching. my video. So yeah, thanks. Thank you whoever you are for watching my lengthy video. Even though it's basically just me just yapping on and on about this movie. So yeah, I do like that, folks. I do like it if anyone actually watching this. Just hearing me just yamper on and on and on. And on and on and yada yada yada. So like I said, it's just wrap things up already. So yeah, thank you for anybody that's watching. And I just want to use. I just want. I was. I guess in other words, I was trying to use some sort of excuse to talk about to cover Frozen 2 again. Which, like I said, I know. I've spoken about this film quite a few times already on this channel. I already did it. I mean, yeah, it's been quite a few times already that I've spoken about this movie. So yeah, I just want to use this as an excuse to do so, folks. Because why not? Why not? I liked it. The fact that I really enjoyed it is good enough, I guess, to talk about it. I mean, you could use this as a way to talk about the music. Alright. It's been a good minute already. It's been a good moment already. So yeah, it it made a ton of money already, and on that alone, I'm not counting the money that was made in the used market, of course. I know those in the used market, there's a lot of money to be used here, of course, on that. I'm not counting that at all. You can actually sell CDs on there and buy CDs in the used market. When it comes to like places like Rasputin or Goodwill or whatever, I know those places have made a lot of money off of Disney related stuff already. But okay, I guess that could always be a separate video if I ever want to talk about that kind of a thing. I guess that alone could be like a lot of interesting topics to bring up. Well, anyway, folks, like I said, I'm just yapping on this point. So anyway, of course, as always, thanks for watching and take care. Until next time, see ya. Oh yeah.